Hey guys, so I'm creating this video in lieu of Autism Awareness Month. Many of my followers, subscribers, viewers, etc. don't know this, but I do have autism. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome before the age of 18. It is a lifelong disorder. It is a neurological disorder that affects the spinal cord and the nervous system, and basically the brain and all that, right? So because it's Autism Awareness Month, I want to share a little bit about what I'm currently going through. Now, I have posted videos about this subject before, and I have a whole playlist dedicated to it. For those who don't know, I grow carnivorous plants. I live in Washington State currently, in Skagit County, which is about an hour's drive north of Seattle. I longboard. I have 0 local friends. I do have one child, a son, who I do not currently see. The reason I do not currently get to see my son is because the mother, my ex, decided to alienate me from his life and basically keep me from him, or keep him from me. I don't know why she chose to do what she did. The only things I have to go off is the fact that she asked me a simple question. What would you do if we broke up? I told her I didn't want to think about it. I told her I didn't even want to talk about a subject like that unless, she was actually thinking about breaking up, in which case I would want to communicate with her as to why. It was just a question, she claims, but, I gave her the answer. She got upset. Then it turns out she told me that, hey, I've been talking to this other guy for the entire time you and I were together, and I fell in love with him, and yeah. Within a week of breaking up with me, she's already dating him. Within a month, they call it official. Within 2 months, she's pregnant with his kid, and within 3 months, they're married. 90-day fiance much, anybody? I tried working with her for the benefit of our kid. I tried being civil. I tried the kill him with kindness, all that stuff. But unfortunately, all she did was take advantage of my disability in order to manipulate a reaction, abuse me mentally and via domestic violence by the use of our child, and alienate me from my son's life, causing my relationship with him to basically be now destroyed. Now, I did try to file with my local police and file for custodial interference charges through them under RCW 9A40060 under paragraph 3, which states if there's no lawful order and a parent with intent deprives the other parent to access from the child for a protracted or permanent period, it's a Class C felony. I showed them the proof. I showed them the text messages where she specifically states that until stuff gets settled in court, I'm not allowed to see my son, basically. There was no court order at the time. She kept him from me for a month and a half. Initially. All police wanted to do was tell me, go to court, go to court. You got to get a parenting plan. We can't do anything unless there's a court order. Go to court. The law says otherwise, but okay. I did what they said. I went to court. Court ordered her verbally for months. Let him see his son. Let him see his son. Let him see his son. I go back to the PD, report it. They say, well, what did the court say? They told her to let me see my son. Is she? Have you tried asking her? Mm-hmm. Well, have you tried going back to court? Again, what does the law say? If there's no court order and it's still going on, it's a felony. Why won't you do your job and arrest her? This is clear DV, etc., right? It's not a crime. It's her lawful right to tell you to go to court. Wow. Okay. So for months, I continuously tell the court this. For months, the court continuously tells me, go to the PD. And then finally, the PD says, well, we need some form of written order that says you have time with your child. So we finally get a visitation schedule. Apparently still not enough under State versus VLIS. But again, that would fall back under paragraph 3 if there's no lawful order. And you know, the crappy part is I still go to court and all she does is say, oh, well, I'm scared because he's calling me names. Your Honor, here's evidence of her calling me names all the time. And you know what? I'm also autistic. Here's my disability benefit award letter. Here's proof of disabilities. What more do you need? I'm protected under 74.34.020. She's not disabled. She is not under that protection. Yet she can sit there and call me names. I can ask for a vulnerable adult protection order and be denied because name calling, even though it is protected under that RCW, is not sufficient evidence or warrant for any kind of protection order or restraining order. Your Honor, he called me a narcissistic bee. We'll give you an order because that's good enough to cause you to fear for your life. And they want to sit there and say it's not a women's state? I have been trying for 3 years. The only order in place is an amended restraining order. It clearly does not prohibit contact. It does not prohibit communication. She has admitted in court multiple times I have never threatened her. She has admitted in court multiple times that I have never ever made her actually feel threatened for her life. And she has also stated multiple times in court that she has only asked for the order because she wants the name calling to stop. But the court turns around and says, if name calling is not sufficient enough for me to get an order, but grant her one, but yet she admits that's the only reason she obtains it. There is no governmental interest. That's a clear free speech violation. First Amendment right violation right there. But they're not being biased, right? And even though I said I have autism, Your Honor, and even though, we understand you have autism, we understand there are times you cannot control your behavior. It's, Mr. Coates, if you can't do this, we're going to have you arrested for contempt. Mr. Coates, if you can't do that, we'll have you arrested for contempt. But you understand I have autism, right? And they sit there and wonder why I constantly act the way I do. I'm fucking scared. Because I'm doing everything I've been fucking asked to do. And apparently it's still not good enough. She's out there committing a felony. Her fucking husband cyber stalks me, cyber harasses me constantly, even still, to this day. But no, they won't arrest him for cyber harassment. It's not a crime. But because of my tone, because of my swearing, free speech, freedom of expression, First Amendment, I'm aggressive, I'm a threat, I'm too hostile, I'm disorderly. Because I can't control my tone? Because of autism? Because I'm using words as defined by modern terminology? Because I understand the English language because of autism? Funny how I can do my research into the laws that they're supposed to enforce, but aren't, while they violate my ADA rights and constitutional rights. And state law. But they want to sit there and claim that I'm a threat and all this other shit. And I've practically not seen my son in 3 years because at this point, I don't want to. I'm too scared to have him here anymore. And now they're threatening to send me off to freaking Northern as well, or freaking Western State, I don't know which, just to have me freaking evaluated, a form of fucking kidnapping, because I've already stated no to the competency evaluation. They only want to get that for whatever reason, to help plea me for insanity, because otherwise apparently my case is going to trial. Why is it going to trial? What law did I fucking violate? There's not a no contact order, and yet they're charging me with 4 counts of violation of a no contact order? Commissioner Crandall, and I have the freaking audio recording, stated it's not a civil protection order, it's a restraining order, and there's a big difference. Nowhere on that order does it say no contact. So why am I being charged for violation of a no contact order? And on top of that, oh, he's committing felony cyber harassment. Didn't you say it wasn't a crime when it was being done against me, against an actual freaking protection order? But yet they want me to be sent off, kidnapped, against my fucking will. Against evidence that I've actually submitted to the court multiple times over. Against evidence that I've turned into the PD multiple times over. So my 4th Amendment, First Amendment, 14th Amendment, none of that apply. I don't get due process. I don't get the right to speak. You just gotta accuse me of whatever, kidnap me, and do what you fucking will? Put yourself in my position, people. What would you do if one day your significant other just turned around, asked you a question, didn't like the answer, so they turned around and took the kids and left and admitted they were basically cheating on you behind you the entire time? And then turn around and took advantage of your disability to make you appear as a threat because of a communication disorder. Kidnapping your son, committing the crime of perjury, false reporting to an officer, etc., cyber harassment, third-party communication, third-party stalking, etc. against court orders you have against them. But rather than helping, defend you and doing their jobs, they instead charge you for those crimes as if you're committing them, when you're trying to actually show that you're not, that you're the victim to it. And then they sit there and call you basically crazy and paranoid and say, we're going to send you off. We don't basically care about your rights, but we care and we're so empathetic, right? People want to sit there and say, it is easy for those of us with autism. It is anything but. Justice systems do not fucking care. I have tried. I have gone through attorneys left and fucking right. I've shown them the fucking evidence. They don't even care. They aren't defending us. RCW 71.05.040. You cannot legally send me off for evaluation or hold me for evaluation due to my disability alone. You want to quote 10.77? Scroll to the bottom. Look at notes. Mental disabilities. Mental illnesses. Guess what autism falls under? 74.34.020, paragraph 21, part C. Click the sub-RCW. Links to another 71A RCW, which, if you read paragraph 6, talks about developmental disabilities. Autism is linked. You know I freaking have autism. It's documented on fucking police reports. I've turned in the proof. The courts have copies. The PD has copies. You know what? If you guys go on Google. Seriously, go Google. 9th Circuit Court of Appeals, 9.32. In fact, just Google 9.32, 14th Amendment, interference with parent-child relationship. It'll pull up the page from the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals government website with the model jury instructions, all case laws. What they are doing is clear violation of my 14th Amendment rights, guys. And I've even documented video in a playlist showing them clearly conspiring on multiple occasions to violate my rights, such as my 4th Amendment. Unlawfully trespassing me for conducting lawful business, trying to report a crime. They're annoyed because I know my laws, because I do my research. Because I like to learn, I like to study. I'm sorry that's a bad thing. I'm sorry they're so fucking ego-driven. Imagine how I fucking feel. You know, I've tried explaining things, I've tried being civil, I've tried providing them links and educational tools and showing them the actual RCWs playing up. But they'll still sit there and say to my face while I'm holding up the law, that says otherwise, it's not a crime. But you know what they'll sit there and do to officers like Sergeant Von Dyke? Oh yeah, that's right. She's a sergeant now. They promoted her. Officers will clearly, with intent, refuse to enforce the laws, lie to your face, and then get promoted for it. That's how it works here in Mount Vernon. How it works here in Skagit County, Washington. So you know what? I hope my story gets out there. I hope people realize that autism isn't all fun and games for everybody. You know, it's because of the way I speak, because of the way I talk, because of my tone of voice and the words I choose to use from time to time, because that's how I interpret things. That's how I perceive things. That's how I communicate. That's how I socialize. That I don't have really any friends here. That I can't work a normal 9 to 5. That's why I stay home. That's why I grow carnivorous plants for a living. That's why I do things that I do. Because that's who I am. I'm sorry, the rest of the world fucking hates it. I'm sorry, I'm just this peace-loving, nature-loving guy who grows plants and longboards and raises sea monkeys on occasion and has random little quirks and hobbies, but just has a problem socializing on occasion. Because of, you know, I overfeel things. I over-empathize. I wish I had an off switch for this disability, but I don't. And people wonder why I would rather build a schoolie and go live off in the fucking woods somewhere. Have my own plot of land and just do my own thing and leave everybody else the fuck alone, right? I feel like the rest of the fucking world hates me as is. I don't know what I've done, but apparently I'm just so unlovable and unfriend-worthy and all this other shit. And I'm sorry if people don't like my communication, but you know what? To fuck with the rest of the world, because apparently the rest of the world doesn't give a fuck how I feel, or what I have to say, or what I think. But you know, happy Autism Day, right? Peace out.